Hello and welcome to the Judges Orientation for the Reggie Award, Spring 2022. If you're watching this, you're a new judge, so thank you for judging. This should go relatively quickly, and if you have any questions, just feel free to connect with me. I'm Nicole Kuhn with Housing First Minnesota, and I'm the VP of Membership Events, have been working with the awards for quite a while. And then we also have Kim Carter, who is our Membership and Events Coordinator, and we'll have our contact information for you later in the webinar. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to either one of us and we can help you out. So real quick agenda, what we're going to cover through this webinar is general information about the award, where you can get your guidebook, a few noteworthy items, your judging packet, how you're going to get it, which you've already gotten because the link for this video was in that email, the confidentiality agreement, online scoring, a final checklist, and then the award dissemination, and actually no Q&A, but don't forget, if you have questions, you can always hit me up later. So real quick, general information. Typically the judging is done during the Parade of Home hours, which is from noon to 6 p.m. on tour days. And so we'll get to a little bit later, but we do have some entries that say, yes, it's okay to judge outside of parade. So then you can book an appointment with a builder or find out how to get access to the home and make your schedule that way. So right there, it says it will be noted on the score sheet if there's any availability to judge outside that parade time. So as you're planning your route of attack and where you want to go, depending on the metro area where your homes are, just keep that in mind as well too. So one helpful hit as well is when you arrive at the home, it's just nice to introduce yourself to the representative that is working the model and have them sign your verification sheet. So you'll have a PDF in your packet that you can print on your own, and just have them sign and date what time you were there. It just kind of helps us with keeping track of who's been in what home. Every now and again, I get a builder that's like, hey, I've only had so many judges come through, it seems a little light, and then I can go back and look and say like, no, we actually had all 4 or 3 or 5, whatever the number is, through your home. This person came in on this date and time. So it's just a nice verification for us as well too. One helpful reminder as well is to take photos of the entry. Just after you introduce yourself to the rep working the home, just verify with them. Sometimes some of the homes do say no photography allowed. So if you see a sign when you enter, just ask the rep that it's okay if you take photos. You're a judge, you just want to be able to reference them later for your scoring. Some of the judges, they have found it to be helpful when you arrive to the home, just to take an exterior photo of the house with the Parade of Homes yard sign. And then that way, any other photos that kind of come after that are related to that parade home. And then also walk around the entire house as well too, checking out the outside and the inside. And even if the basement is unfinished, do ask if it's okay if you're able to go down there, if it's blocked off or roped off for some reason. So guidebook, we do have printed copies of those. They're available at the Holiday Station stores around town. Otherwise, we do have an online copy, or you can just search through the paradeofhomes.org website and find out additional information as well too. But I know a lot of judges like that printed guidebook. They use it for directions or just to find out how to get to the homes. Otherwise, there is a Parade of Homes app as well too. So you can find that in the App Store, either if you have iPhone or Google or Android, that is. So if you need help locating a guidebook in whatever fashion, feel free to reach out to me. And then we have a couple noteworthy items. So the Parade of Homes price is the price of the home, including the lot. And so that price we use to assign the home to a category. I know maybe if you're a builder and you're a judge, you know that just with the market and the volatility of pricing and supply chain constraints that we have now a price range for the Parade of Homes. And so to be in the tour, you have a low end, a high end for the home. But when a builder enters their home into the Reggie Award, we do specifically ask for a price of that home. And so that price is the one that we use to determine what price category the home falls into for the Reggie competition. There are also categories for production. And so if there's a builder that produces 1 to 49 homes or 50 plus homes, so we segment those out based on production and then by price. So the builder does need to tell us how many homes they produce a year as well too. With evaluations, there's 10 different criteria that you will judge the home on, and it's fairly simple. It's on a 1 to 10 scale, and I'll get over to you the best tips on that in a little bit here. And then the scores are what determines a winner. So judges, you might not know who else is in your judging category. You will all submit your scores online. We download all of those scores and tabulate them in our system, and then that determines for us who the recipient of the Reggie Award is. And so the highest scoring entry in the category will receive the Reggie. In the past, we had a threshold of points required that it needed to hit 75% of the points possible. We've now gone away with that just based on feedback. So we're going to do that this spring. And then if there is a tiebreaker by points, we're going to use the overall impression score for that tiebreaker to determine the recipient. So if for some reason you said that you were going to judge and for whatever reason something comes up and you can't, like, unfortunately, if there's a death in your family or a health concern, or, your spouse booked an impromptu trip for you, or one of your kids maybe got into a playoff game, just let us know as soon as you know, and then do your best to find a replacement, maybe another one of your colleagues. So if for whatever reason you can't judge, just let us know. Like, we won't yell at you or anything like that. But we do want you to know that a judge has to see all of the entries in that category for the scores to be used. So like, let's say you get through 3, and then maybe there's 6 in a category, you got through 3 of them, something came up, you can't finish, and you send a colleague out to look at the other 3. Like, unfortunately, we can't use those scores because we need the same person to view all of the entries. Like, you might have a different philosophy or viewpoint that your colleague does. So just to keep it fair, we do say all judges need to see all homes in a category. So if you can't judge, find somebody. If you can, in either case, let me know, and we will move forward with what we can do. Now, the judge packet. So you would have already received an email, and in that is a PDF that includes a cover sheet, a verification sheet, your evaluation sheets, and it's all digital, a PDF. So if you're a hard copy kind of person, feel free to just print your own copies and bring them with you when you're out judging. For sure, you'll need a printed copy of your verification sheet. And if for some reason you're unable to do that, just let me know, and I can print some copies for you from the office and either have you pick them up or meet you somewhere or send them by courier, whatever we need to do to get them to you. So the cover sheet basically is kind of a synopsis of all the things that you need to do, just a nice little refresher. But the big thing is scores are due April 4th. And so I believe you have the first 4 weekends of the parade to judge. The first weekend is just Saturday, Sunday. And then normally every other weekend of the parade is Thursday through Sunday. So I think you end up having about 14 parade days to judge in the spring. And then of course you have some homes that may give you the option to judge outside of parade hours as well. So the cover sheet includes what's in the packet, how to do online scoring, your guidebook, where to pick those up, just how we select a recipient, and then my contact information if you have any questions. The next page of your cover sheet is a roster of entries. And so some of the judging groups, you might have more than one category. So for example, this one that is pulled up, they had 3 different categories that they're judging. They're judging, looks like 2 categories that were 1 to 49 homes in production at 2 different price points, the 3 to 399.99, and then a 450 to up to 500. And then they also had a group for the 50 plus production, 450 to up to 500. So they were actually judging, it looks like they had 7 different entries to view. And they were broken up into 3 different price points or categories as well. So like, as I mentioned, if you can't judge for whatever reason, and you can't, like, let's say you saw 2 of that last quarter category at the bottom, like if you could strategically say like, okay, I have a little bit limited time, I'll get out and just go look at those other two, and then we can try and find a sub for the other ones. But the roster of entries is included on page 2 of your packet, and then it will list the parade number, the home price, and that's the one that the builder gives us to assign the home to a category, and then what city it's located in, and then the builder. So hopefully that will kind of help you figure out like your mapping and how you want to plan your tour schedule for viewing the entries. Now we have the judge verification. So what this does is it breaks it out by your price and production categories, and then basically gives you all the information like the builder name, the parade, the city, and then it has a spot for each of those homes for the builder rep to sign their name, print their name, and then date and time it. So I know some judges, they'll put the date and time in right before they walk in, and then they just have the rep sign off on it. So we do ask, like when you introduce yourselves, just have them fill out this form. So what you'll do is like when you get through all of your judging, you'll want to scan and upload that as well, so that we have a copy of it. So evaluation sheets. So this is a PDF you'll get of every entry. And this is the top portion of the first page. So it will list the parade number, it will list the builder, the address of the property, and then it'll have a builder contact if there is one. And so that's just someone that you can contact if you have questions. And then there's also this notation that it is open for judging outside of parade hours. So if you are able to do that, let's say they're like, hey, you know, anytime or Wednesday at 4 o'clock, you want to go, just reach out to that builder contact. If there isn't one, we just suggest that you use whatever contact is listed in the guidebook or the one that's provided online. If the home is certified, it will be noted there. That's usually like energy certified. And then it would list who is the certifying entity, and then the home price. And then there's kind of a break in the page, and then the bottom of the page lists the rating scale. So you're rating the home in different areas on a scale of 1 to 10. So this range is what we're asking you to use. So if it's above average, 7 to 9, satisfactory, 4 to 6. So use that as your guide when you're scoring. The bottom of every page will include what production and what category it is, just in case you need the refresher, and then what judge group you may be in. This group was group I. So the evaluation criteria, it's 10 different areas. I'm not going to read through all of these, or on every score sheet in PDF, but you're rating a lot of things like the design and craftsmanship of many different components, design details, and then the bottom few are overall impressions, either the value, quality, or the impression. So there's a screenshot of what the PDF score sheet looks like for a given home. So again, this is something that if you want to print out and bring it with you and put pen to paper while you're at the home, you can do that. I know some people maybe adjust their scores after they have toured all of the homes in a category. Whatever your strategy is, feel free to do it. But ultimately, you will need to put all these scores online. We made it hopefully super simple for you to do that. We have gotten positive feedback from judges in the last 2 events since we moved to online. So at the bottom, right here, you'll notice the HERS score. So we do award bonus points for the HERS score. And so there's the point breakdown there. And so don't feel like you need to record that. We handle that all on the back end. So a builder can report to us what their HERS score is, and then we enter that, and then the system will automatically calculate the bonus points. So if for some reason it was provided at the time of entry, that will be propagated into the data for you. A lot of times the raters aren't out until maybe the parade is going on, so we'll get those later. So just so you know, internally what we do is when score sheets are due, what we'll do is we'll just cross-check the parade database again, make sure that if there's any scores, HERS scores that came in after we pulled all the information for you judges, that we get that in so we can get those bonus points applied. And then there's a spot if you want to make any comments about the entry itself. So the HERS index, there is like a little dashboard right here. You might see some of these in the mechanical rooms. So just does give the index if you want to know more about it. Here's some information. Otherwise, you can go to GreenPath and find out more. Basically, it's like a golf score. The lower the score, the better it is. So if you need to know more information, reach out and then I can get you some content to share a little bit more with you on that. So the builder in the entry also has the opportunity to provide entry highlights and special features. So this would be like anything that they want you to note as a judge, a cool install, a different kind of product that you don't see customarily, or maybe they built the home for a specific client who has just a different design aesthetic than maybe the builder does. So they want you to know, like, this isn't maybe representative of what the builder normally produces, but because they're building it for a client, that's why some of the selections were made maybe the way that they were. So that will just give you some additional insight as a judge if you need to maybe note some other special things as you're touring the home and scoring it. So packet dissemination, this is probably not needed at this point, but we were doing this as a webinar and just found that with all the virtual things happening now with COVID and everything, on demand seems to be a really great way to go. You can watch it whenever you want. But so you would have gotten this already because the link to this on-demand webinar is in that email. But you would have received an email with everything you need except for the guidebook. Do encourage you to keep the email so that way you can go back and reference it, especially because there's specific links that you need for each home for the online scoring when it comes time for you to add all your scores online. So just keep it handy when you're done submitting all your scores and stuff. You can certainly delete it. The subject will be Reggie Judging Packet Spring 2022 with the trophy icon. Hopefully it'll jump out in your inbox, but I would also say check your spam as well too. Sometimes those icons get filtered a little bit differently. And then the sender is me, Nicole Kuhn. And I will send out reminder emails to all the judges leading into the last weekend of judging too. So it's just like, hey, friendly reminder, you got scores coming due. Here's all your stuff if you need it again. So it does include the judging packet. So that's that cover sheet, all the info sheets on the homes, the score sheet, if you like a hard copy. And then the email body itself will actually include a list of all the homes, and then it will include a link for every home that you're going to score. And then there'll be an additional one at the bottom that's for the confidentiality agreement. So we'll get to that next. So the confidentiality agreement. So these are specific to each judge individually. So if you maybe delete your email and you know somebody else is judging, don't call them or email them and say like, hey, just forward me your packet because these are coded specifically for you. Y'all get a judging ID. And then hopefully this is where the easy part comes in. We pre-populate all the info for you except for the bits that we need that are custom to you. So don't change any of the data that's already in there that gets populated, but your name would get populated in, your judge ID, your email, what group you are. And for this confidentiality agreement, it's basically just saying that as a judge, you're not sharing anything with people that, aren't staff or that you shouldn't be sharing it with. And so you just agree, and then you can upload your verification sheets. Those are the sign-in sheets that you have all the builders do. And then you can just scan that and upload it there. So these are all due on or before April 4th. And that is one form that you do. And then up next, we have the online scoring. So let's say you're in a group and you're looking at 6 total homes, and maybe they're broken up into 2 different productions or price categories. You will have an online scoring form for each one. So it's specific to you as a judge, specific to that home. And so we're just looking at the version from last spring, but it's going to pull in the parade number, the judging group, the entry ID for the home. It has like another code for the score ID. Don't worry about that. Just don't change any of that. Then it has the builder name, the price of the home for that Reggie entry, the address, what production it is, and then what price point. And then, so you can just skip all that. I mean, it's there for your reference. But then there's your matrix of your 10 different features that you're scoring on a scale 1 to 10. So you just hit the radial button that denotes the score that you want to assign to that piece. All of those are required. So you're not able to submit the form if you don't have that data in there. And then that HER score that I mentioned, if we already had a rating for it, it's already on here. It's already pulling in the bonus points. If it's not there, again, we do cross-check it before we finalize all scores. And then it will have your name at the bottom, your email, and then all you got to do is hit submit. So really every score sheet that you're filling out, you're really just putting 1 through 10 and 10 different things, and then there's a spot for comments for you. So I already kind of cruised through this. This is just a larger size. We actually need to update this, or we did for the 2022 scoring, but we no longer have that 75% point threshold. So we're getting rid of that this spring. And then there's a zoomed in version of the matrix of ratings. And then again, the judging scale, just as your guideline, that 1 to 3 for poor, 4 to 6 for satisfactory, above average is 7 to 9, and then excellent is 10 points. And then if you want to put comments in, feel free to do so. And we use those primarily for internal use. We don't share those with the entrant of the home. So final checklist. Remember, take photos, write your comments or notes, view and judge the entire home. And then judging materials and scores are due online April 4th. So you'll have one confidentiality verification form to complete at the end, and then you will have one score online scoring link for each entry. And then the awards, we will make the announcement of the spring Reggie recipients late April. We'll announce that, and then we'll have a special announcement going out, and then we can just share more with the builders. They normally get a marketing kit when they won, and then we'll work with them on how trophies will be delivered. They're typically shipped right to the builder's office, or they can stop into our office and pick them up, but it takes us a couple weeks to have those produced once we have the recipients. So we do try and coordinate the announcement with trophy availability, just so that you're hearing about it and getting the trophy around the same time. And then save the date for Friday, October 28th, 2022. Mystic Lake Center again for the big night, and we will have brief recognition for the spring recipients at that event. So you typically open registration for that event end of August, actually beginning August, I think. So just watch your inboxes for that as well too. So we don't have Q&A because this is on demand, so I gotta update apparently a couple things in the PowerPoint. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, Nicole at housingfirstmn.org, and there's my office number, or Kim at housingfirstmn.org. Either one of us can help you and get you the information that you need. So thank you so much for judging. I know it's a lot on top of all the other things that you have going on. So did our best to try and keep judges to view anywhere from 5 to 7 homes. Tried my best not to give any more than that, but I think there's 1 or 2 categories that have more than that. So obviously judges have to see all the homes in a specific category for that to work out evenly or fairly, I guess. So thank you again for judging. Again, if you have any questions, there's our contact information, and happy judging.